Today we're going to be doing a silk press. I am going to be going in with my Shark Glam from Shark Beauty. But first, let's talk about these products that we're going to be using. I am going with the Cheese Silk Infusion, and then I have my KeraCare Shampoo as well as the Design Essentials Moisture Shampoo. And then I have my 3-Minute Miracle in the Chi Iron Guard. That is going to be my heat protectant. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my hair up in sections and then just make sure that I get a good detangle. You always want to detangle your hair when you are doing this. I don't care if you're doing it curly, wearing it straight. It is a must to get all the kinks out. So I'm going in with my rosemary water like I always do. I do a lot of these videos on my Instagram, on my TikTok, and I know it's a lot of them, but it's just because I want y'all to see how important it is to take care of your hair's health before you even think about straightening it. So we're just going to go ahead and take our water, spray down. You're going to go through and finger detangle just to get all the knots that you can see. That's easy to undo. And then I'll get my detangle brush and just brush from the ends all the way up. And you also want to make sure your hair is saturated enough before you start brushing. I know I've had times where I've sprayed water and then when I got ready to brush, it felt like it was a little hard to get it through. And that's just because it's not saturated with water. You don't want to pull your hair out. So just make sure, it doesn't have to be drenching, but just make sure it's enough to where the brush is just gliding through. My first step is my KeraCare shampoo. That's going to be the clarifying to get all the dirt, anything off my scalp, any products that I had. You don't want to have any oils, grease, anything in your hair before you flat iron because it's going to fry it, I'm telling you. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my scalp and then work all the way down. And once I rinse that, I went ahead and went in with the Design Essentials. And then now I can go in with my heat protectant, the Silk Infusion, and the Iron Guard. And you don't need a whole lot. You need just a dime size amount. Rub it all the way through. I know it seems like it's not enough, but it really is. And you just make sure you work it through. And you do this while your hair is wet. That's why I'm going ahead and spraying it all over. And once you massage it all the way through, you'll go ahead and begin sectioning off so we can start the blow drying process. This is the beautiful Shark Glam. This is actually the blow dryer itself without the attachments on there. So you can actually twist this. There is a side button. You pull it down and you turn the top and it locks into an L shape, which is going to give you that blow dry form. And then once you start using the other tools, you'll straighten it back out. This is super handy. I had never seen anything like this before I got my Shark Glam. I was super excited to use it, and there are settings for wet hair and dry hair. So right now I'm going to be using wet, and then when my hair is dry, I'll just switch it back. And then here I'm just taking my hair and I'm just going to pull it as far as it'll go, and I'm going to make sure I blow dry my roots first. This is going to give me that stretch that I need. That way when I go in with my Shark Glossy Ceramic Styler, it's going to be super easy to get it straight. But before that, I'm going to go in with the styling concentrator. I like this because it's going to focus all the air on my roots or anywhere on my ends that I want to get a little bit straight. And then now I can go ahead and change the settings like I was talking about earlier. I'm just going to switch it to dry. This tool made it super easy for me to focus on my roots. And then I go in with the ceramic styler, and look how easy it is for me to glide through my hair, and it is straight. I'm talking about I don't even have to do too much, and I only have to do one pass when it's time to straighten it. finally done with that process. So now it is time to straighten. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I have my hair put in sections. I did actually do this the next day just to allow my hair to cool down. I didn't want to put too much heat at once. So now I have these in braids, and I'm actually glad I did this because it made it so much easier. I just took one braid at a time. Doing this in small pieces is going to benefit you, even if it takes longer, because if you do this in a rush and do big sections and you have to start over, or you can't flat iron anymore because you don't want to get heat damage, you're going to be upset that you even did it, because you're like, wow, my silk press is going to last and I spent all this time doing it for nothing. So just take your time. Don't do this on a day you have to do something, because it's just not going to be worth it if you rush. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just taking my rat tail comb, taking a small piece, and then just taking my shark silky attachment and going through slow, not too slow, but slow enough to make sure that that heat is really getting in there and it's getting straight. And this is my hair halfway through. It has so much shine and body. I love it so much. This is why I say make sure you don't have any oils or anything in your hair during this process, and it's going to come out smooth. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in my next one.